Tuesday, but we could see a couple of showers. After that, looking ahead to Turkey Day, a couple of showers possible for Thanksgiving, and then getting cold again by the upcoming weekend. That's your forecast from the WSIC Weather Center. I'm meteorologist Chase Myers.
Hey, this is Jeff McNeely, owner of G&M Milling Company in beautiful downtown Lowray. We at G&M hope you come by and see us for all your livestock needs. We stock feeds for all kinds of animals and hay too. We also have seed for a wide variety of forages for your animals. So come on by 4000 Taylorsville Highway, Statesville, or call us at 704-873-5758. We're worth the drive. Thank you again for supporting small family-owned businesses. God bless.
The following is a paid program and does not necessarily reflect the views of WSIC.
All systems are a go.
Ladies and gentlemen, hold on to your seats. Taking Care of Iredell with North Carolina State Representative Jeff McNeely is about to begin. In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Good morning, Iredell County. Hope everybody's doing well. It's a beautiful day out there, starting to warm up. A little chilly this morning. This is my kind of weather. This is good fat man weather here. You can get something done, not sweat too bad. Hey, we got a great show today. We got Major Dave Goetze that's going to come on here and talk to us real quick about elections in North Carolina. And Dave is the guru of election integrity, and so we're going to see if we can go ahead and bring him in. Hey, Dave, are you out there, Major Dave? Sounds like a David Bowie song.
Good morning, Iredell County. Good to be back with you, Jeff.
Hey, great to have you on here. You've been on here before, but for people that aren't really, paying attention and not listening to this show every Monday, and I don't know why they wouldn't and who these people are, but when I find out their names and addresses, I'm going to go visit them. But that's a whole nother story and another show. Dave, tell us a little bit about yourself, who you are, lay it on us.
Well, I'm a Raleigh native, North Carolina, born and bred, always proud of that. 20-year career, military police, retired Army, retired as a major. Went in as a private, came out as a major. But I was a trained criminal investigator, and I got started in election integrity back in 2016 when the state board reported 3 candidates that got a negative number of votes. And it was like, how can that, what ballot can you cast that generates a negative number? Come to find out, it was part of some of the calibration software that didn't get cleared out of the machine before they started the election. But that just points to the lack of oversight in a lot of things to go on. So I'm 8 years into this now. I download the voter rolls every week. I've been downloading the absentee ballot data file every day for this election since back in September. Excuse me. And, it's just, if I had found anything that made sense, I would have stopped a long time ago. But I found some anomalies with this election that are very concerning to me. I prepared a PDF document. I sent it to you and a bunch of your colleagues in the legislature. And I'm hoping that we can get some hearings on this after the dust settles and put some remedial actions in place before the next election.
Well, let me ask you, so you've been basically doing this since about 2016 then?
Correct. The end of 2016, just after the 2016 election, right.
You just started saying, I'm going to see what's out there. And so you've brought forth to me and to a lot of us a lot of interesting stuff. There always seems to be some kind of answer they have. I don't know how much I buy it, or even rent some of the stuff they tell me. I know the last time that we had Karen Brinson Bell on there, I don't know if you want to say a half truth or lie, but that's what she did basically in front of our government operations committee that we had. And I debated at that moment in time right there, that spot, whether to just call it out or to go ahead and make sure I had all my facts and get everything ready for the next time we'll have her in front of her. And believe me, there will be a next time or two. But tell us a little bit now, this is one of the things everybody says, okay, well, our North Carolina elections, they're done. Well, actually, we've still got one out there. We've got the Supreme Court race with Jefferson Griffith and Allison Riggs, or Rigged, That's what it's starting to look like. But Riggs,
Right.
still going on. He's now in the process of suing the North Carolina State Board of Elections, and he on the night of November the 5th, I think probably went to bed with about a 10,000 vote lead. And
Right.
over the last month now, or more, getting close to a month, that has dissipated into about a 600 vote loss. And tell us, let's just start. Tell us a couple of the things that you've seen in this election that has got your curiosity up.
Well, it's a good question. I trained 28 contest election monitors to be online on election night, capturing snapshots every few minutes of the results as they came in, looking for any suspicious movement in the data. And what I found, and we found collectively, when we merge all of those captures together and then sort them chronologically, we can see the movement in the numbers. Jeff, they were switching numbers back and forth between candidates numerous times throughout the night. And it was done after the counties had made their last upload to the state. Now, the state board does not have the authority to change any number. And the reason we were looking for this was because back in the second primary, when Hal Weatherman had his runoff with Jim O'Neill for the lieutenant governor's nomination, at 8:50 at night, the main page showed Hal with a substantial lead. But when you clicked on the little button that said View Contest Details and saw the spreadsheet, Jim O'Neill had the larger number. Well, 6 minutes later, those two names at the top of those columns flipped. Now, maybe they were correcting an error, but I am troubled by the fact that they can change anything on the fly on election night. But what it proved to me was there is no external oversight of the state board built into the system. And if it wasn't for nonprofit groups like mine and a couple of others, we would never even know this happened.
So let me make sure I understand you. I think I do, but I just want to do this more for the listeners. So somebody sitting at a keyboard terminal,
right,
can basically change a name on the top of a column from one to the other. They can add, subtract. They have the ability to do anything they want to at, we'll call it a kiosk for a better word or whatever, or at that
right.
terminal. They have the ability to put anything up, and those numbers appear to be factual once they're put up.
Correct.
So there's no one certain person. There's no little old lady sitting in the back there that's doing the math. It could be any one of these people, numerous people over there at the State Board of Elections that could have access to these votes and to the calculations, or not maybe so much the calculations, but the final numbers that actually you see on their website.
Right. Well, what made it even more strange, Jeff, was that there was no vote flipping in the governor's race.
So they got that right.
There was a lot of flipping going on in the lieutenant governor's race. Excuse me. I'm grabbing my chart here so I speak factually. There was some flipping in the attorney general's race. There was flipping in almost every county and Secretary of State's race. Same for the auditor. Same for the Supreme Court seat. But what I thought was odd, there was actually no flipping at all in the Court of Appeals seat that Tom Murray was running for, seat 12, and yet there was flipping in about 20 counties in Valerie Zachary's race. How could this be so uneven if they were correcting an error? You'd think you would see the flipping in all the races across the board at that time.
All right. Hey, Dave, we got to take a hard break here. We'll be right back, folks. Hang with us. Hey, it's getting good.
We'll be back with more of NC Representative Jeff McNeely and Taking Care of Iredell after this short break on 105.9, 100.7 WSIC.
Well, our week of Thanksgiving getting started off on a nice note. Partly cloudy. We'll get up to around 70 for our Monday afternoon. and we only fall back into the low 50s overnight, but some extra clouds on the way. Highs in the upper 60s Tuesday, but we could see a couple of showers. After that, looking ahead to Turkey Day, a couple of showers possible for Thanksgiving, and then getting cold again by the upcoming weekend. That's your forecast from the WSIC Weather Center. I'm meteorologist Chase Myers.
Hey, Dave, you still with me?
I'm still here.
So we're going to talk about this too. I forgot to tell you we got the hard break at 11:15, and then we also end basically your segment. Unless you want to go longer, we can drift on into the second the second part of the hour. You tell me how far you want to go. We'll go to 11:30. So we'll get close to that, and I'll say, Dave, you want to go a little farther? You just have to hang on for about 3 or 4 minutes. But it ain't like a whole flush of ballots come in. It's like there's corrections being made of some type or another in races that they want to make corrections in. So that's kind of like this Riggs race. It seemed like every ballot that was provisional they went and found was for her, especially in Guilford.
Yeah.
So, and I don't know if y'all look much at the provisional or not. Do y'all even look at that? Yeah. I mean, I know you do, but you don't. Do you dig in and find say, all right, there's no way this person's legal, this, that, or the other?
No, I haven't gotten to that level of detail yet.
Yep. Okay. I got a cool little thing I'll bring up. We actually mailed out a bunch of voter, basically just say congratulations for registering or turning 18 or whatever from my office.
Yeah.
We did that in September, right before early voting. We got those out. We got back just in Iredell County on new people that had registered. We probably got back 85 of those that you could not send to that address.
Yeah.
Now these people had registered between the primary and the general election, so that address couldn't have been more than 3 or 4 months old, and already wasn't deliverable to them. And I'm sitting there going, So,
down in Kinston, Lenore County, they had a 90% rejection rate. They did the same thing, sent out address verification cards, and over 90% of them came back from the post office undeliverable at that address.
But yet they took those provisional ballots when those people come in, I'll bet you.
I don't know, but we need to go to that county and get a roster and check them and verify them.
Well, see, I'm gonna do that with Iredell's. I'm gonna get my envelopes, bring them home, and I'm gonna go see who all voted out of all that pile I got. So I'm gonna do my own little deal. So I hope everybody else does too. Anyway, all right, hold tight. We're coming right back.
Okay.
1112 Shelton Avenue, Statesville.
New lunch specials now available at Mooresville's best Italian spot, Pomodoro's. Open Tuesday through Sunday and ready to serve you the best Italian this side of the motherland. View the mouth-watering menu at pomodoros.com.
Taking Care of Iredell continues. Here's your host, NC Representative Jeff McNeely on 105.9, 100.7 WSIC.
All right, back here for the middle of the show, got Major Dave on. He's our election guru. Major Dave, you still with us?
I'm still here.
All right. Now, when we left, sorry about that. We got to pay bills around here and do these ads and stuff. For some reason or other, people need money to live on. I don't get it. But
and your listeners need to support those merchants to keep that show going.
Amen, folks. So get out and go eat at these places, shop at these places, all that. Major Dave is exactly right on that. So we're going back. All right. So basically, all right. In our mind, we would think, okay, well, they found more ballots, and that's why they made these changes. But like you said, some races never changed, but other ones did. How is, what's the odds of that? Does this not look suspicious as all get out?
Well, strictly, to me, it points to some form of manual manipulation. Now, I'll give you an example. People are very familiar with same-day registration, and I know a lot of people don't like that because it's ripe for fraud.
I know.
In this election, between election night and the canvass, excuse me, remember, early voting was done the Saturday before Election Day on November 2nd.
Right.
Well, so we've gone from November 6th, the day after. We chart these same-day registrants every day because they're flagged with a code in the absentee data file that tells us they're a same-day registrant. Jeff, they added 8,401 more same-day registrants to the record after Election Day. And they say some of them voted as early as the very first day. Where did they find 8,400? That's more than the margin of victory right now in the Supreme Court
Oh,
race.
yeah, that's way more. That's 10 times more. Well,
But then it gets worse. Between the 16th, which was the day after the county canvass on Friday the 15th, and this past Saturday the 23rd, Jeff, they found 210 more same-day registrants that now show up in the file that had never been previously reported.
so these are not really provisional. These are same day early voting. 210 more
ballots that went into the tabulator and were counted.
But
how can that be? I mean, how can they even reconcile at the end of each day, as they're supposed to, the number of ballots with the number of voters, and these voters aren't even making it into the file? They show up 3 weeks later, and these that showed up this past Saturday, just 2 days ago, one or more of them are claimed to have voted on every single day of early voting from the 17th of October all the way to the 2nd of November.
So the same voter number looks like participated every day.
Oh no. I'm just saying one SDR they said voted on the first day, 5 voters voted on the second day, etc.
So they had this information forever, but waited till the very end to stick it in.
Either that or they fabricated it. I don't know that they legitimate voters to cast a ballot. But since January, Jeff, I have uploaded over 3.4 billion lines of voter registration data and election return data into my database. And that's why I can run these queries now in a matter of seconds or minutes when it was taking me days and weeks just using spreadsheets. And this is because of the Electoral Education Foundation. I'm the vice president for research. And that is an organization that Hal Weatherman created over 2 years ago to help give me better tools. So I've now got a much faster computer, a much larger hard drive, a high-speed printer, etc., so that we can put some credible oversight onto the changes that are taking place in this data. And we map that data so we can see exactly when the data changed, how it changed. We just don't know who. But that's going to take an investigative body with a lot more power than I have. Maybe it's a legislative committee that has subpoena power.
Government operations.
To be able to go back in to that system and find out who was making these changes and why.
Well, you know, we brought Karen Brinson Bell in front of our government operations committee back in, I guess it was probably May. Seems like now, May or June. I got to go back and look at the actual time, but we brought her in, and actually, no, it was later than that. It was about August, because we kept saying
after the second primary, right?
Yeah, it was after that second. So it was about August, and they were still over 225,000 registered voters that we either did not have a Social Security number on, which, in my opinion, we should have that on every voter, because to me that states you're an American citizen. In my opinion, or one part of that, that leads me to believe you're an American citizen, and or a North Carolina driver's license number. Now, you know, maybe some people don't drive, but anybody that's an American citizen has been issued a Social Security number, so that should be in your voter file, in my opinion. And so we didn't have that, and that's a big lie. She goes, well, I don't know where they got their data from, is what she told us in front of everybody. And I wanted to say, well, they got it from you, ma'am. Your agency's the one that gave them this data. So she tried to let everybody believe at the thing, and I basically just wanted to call her butt out as a liar, because that's what she did right there. She knew where the data come from, and it's there, and they were doing nothing about trying to find these people and get these Social Security numbers. Maybe all of them are valid voters, and that's wonderful. I hope they are. But I need to verify that they are, just like I have to verify myself to whoever.
Yeah, that software that tallies up the input from all 100 counties is written by the state board IT staff. It's not like the machines that are subject to FEC certification and logic and accuracy testing.
Right.
So that they own that. But I can tell you there are over 2,000 temporary overseas civilians that registered this year that did not give an overseas address for their ballot.
Well, how can that be? How can you not have to give an overseas ballot? Because theoretically, they've got to mail it to you. So how did they acquire a ballot?
Because they can vote online. The overseas military, civilian, and the handicapped can use an online portal to cast their ballot online.
Well, I don't like that at all.
They should not even be added to the files unless they can verify that address. We've even had some change county while they claim to be living overseas. But see, that federal postcard application in Block 2 says, give us your residence address, because that determines what county and what precinct your ballot will be counted in. But in Block 3, it says, give us the mailing address for your ballot, in parentheses, must be different from Block 2. I've got hundreds more that give the same residence address as the Block 2 in Block 3. So it says they're domestic. That's another problem. That's another several hundred ballots that were voted and counted.
Do we even know that these people were ever actually North Carolina citizens?
No. And we have some that I know were out-of-state students, went to school at Duke, graduated with an advanced degree, got a job teaching overseas, like down in Brazil at some university, haven't been in the States in 20 years, don't ever plan to come back, but they still get to vote by mail every time there's an election.
You know, when
I got to tell you, Jeff, the reason I appreciate the time with you like this, because when I go to Raleigh, I'm lucky to get 3 to 5 minutes with you or one of your colleagues. Here we've been talking more than 15 minutes already, and I've barely begun to scratch the surface.
I know.
But I'm just grateful for you and your fellow colleagues. There are about 60 of you between both chambers that do follow my post on Facebook and whatnot, that are getting it and understanding. If I can say one thing that needs to change, we need external oversight of the state board's data operation.
Well, you know, we made the call to move it out from underneath the out from underneath the executive branch to put this under the auditor's branch. How do you feel about that, whether it be a Republican or Democrat in the auditors?
I was doing the happy dance. The one thing that will happen, I do believe, is that in the future, when the counties make their upload to the state, they will make that same upload simultaneously to the state auditor's office. That way, the two sets of numbers have to always agree. Nobody can flip any numbers anywhere. And that will just put a stop to this kind of stuff.
Well, we should be able to go to each county board and get their numbers, their final numbers, and then go and see what has been put down as far as their final numbers. You know, they talk about the encrypted hard drives, or not hard drives, but thumb drives that they have to actually drive down there to Raleigh and make sure they got. They report over online, but then they also, this is the double verification and yada, yada, yada. But we got to know exactly what's coming from each county to make sure that this is the total. And we need somebody, not the State Board of Elections, like I said, the auditor's office, somebody's office has got to verify. There's got to be a double check. There's got to be a double check.
That's right. And every one of those machines produces a printed tape showing the outcome. They present 3 copies. One goes on the polling place door, one goes to the County Board of Elections, and the other goes to the State Board of Elections. Well, I recommend they print a 4th copy that also then will go to the auditor's office. So they will have a paper trail to back up and run against the data that's uploaded. Sadly, I've talked to half a dozen county directors of elections, and not a one of them ever goes online after they upload
Check
to make sure that what the state is reporting on their behalf is exactly what they uploaded. And I believe that needs to be added in as a requirement before the election results can be certified. Hey,
Dave, we're about to clock out here at 11:30. You want to go into the next hour, next half hour a little bit?
I'd be happy to.
All right, hold tight. It's going to be a few minutes. Folks, we got more to talk about. Stay there.
Keep it right here. Taking Care of Iredell with NC Representative Jeff McNeely will return after this short break on 105.9, 100.7 WSIC.
Well, our week of Thanksgiving on a Nice note, partly cloudy. We'll get up to around 70 for our Monday afternoon, and we only fall back into the low 50s overnight, but some extra clouds on the way. Highs in the upper 60s Tuesday, but we could see a couple of showers. After that, looking ahead to Turkey Day, a couple of showers possible for Thanksgiving, and then getting cold again by the upcoming weekend. That's your forecast from the WSIC Weather Center. I'm meteorologist Chase Myers.
Johnson's Parts and Supply, your Auto Plus auto parts store, carries Wagner brakes as well as gates, belts, and hoses. They also make their own hydraulic hoses. Johnson's Auto Parts, your Auto Plus auto parts store. 1112 Shelton Avenue, Statesville.
Hi, this is Susan. I'm excited to let you know that Lake Mountain Coffee is now available for private events. A beautiful historic building with its 360-degree mezzanine.
Hey, Dave, you with me?
I am.
Hey, just hold tight. This break takes a little longer than most. And
I want to say this off the air, but since you and I have been on the phone, I got another voicemail from John Bluff.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Oh, yes, I am.
All right. So we were getting into these things here, and we were talking about the online voting that you could do overseas. I did not realize we allowed that. I thought with 45 days you had to request a ballot. They sent it to you, and with the ways of the world, that you could get anything around the world and back within 45 days. But obviously, that's not exactly how the process works. Then.
No, actually, they request their ballot with an email. They are sent a fillable PDF ballot that they mark and then return. And then once that PDF comes back, a bipartisan team has to manually transfer those markings to a real ballot that then gets fed into the machine.
All right.
Again, more opportunity for error.
And no validation of where they actually live. With the email, it
Correct.
could be going right back to wherever they started. They could have lived in Level Cross, North Carolina, and said they're across seas, but the email come from Level Cross, and everything was transpired right in here in the state. So we don't know. So we're not really verifying real close where they're at.
I asked a director of elections. I said, when it gives the residence the same residence address as the mailing address, where will you send that ballot? And he confirmed. He said, we will send it to that domestic address. But they don't. They go ahead and vote online. And that just takes them a matter of a couple of minutes just to click on the field, fill in the blank, it prints it out, and it goes into the scanner.
Do they even have to? Go ahead.
I don't know how they verify ID.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Do they even verify who they are like we have to now? All right. Well, let me tell. I'll tell my little story that I told you in one of our breaks, folks. We in our office, that Representative Jeff McNeely, we try to send out new voter letters congratulating them on registering, and we do it before the primaries and we do it before the general. So this year we sent out a whole bunch. And this is an every year thing. So everybody that registers in District 84. Which is 2/3 of the county, they'll get a letter from my office saying, congratulations, glad that you're part of the process to elect. And so between the primary and the general, there was approximately about 600-700 people registered in my district in Iredell County, and we sent letters out, and we got about 85 returned, unable to deliver the post office because that person did not live at that address. Now this was a 3 or 4 month window. Well, I'm doing my math here. I guess it was March, and then we went to November. So I guess it's more like a 6-month window. But in a 6-month window, from the time they registered, they no longer appeared to live at that address or never did live at that address. And
right.
I've got a stack of mail, and I'm having a little hard time how you register and you're still not at that address 6 to 3 months, 1 month later, whatever. So,
I think we need to formalize that process so that your office has the capacity to go back to that county board of elections and challenge those registrations then and not wait till the next election to do it.
Yeah, and we're going to go back. We're going to do our own little work. We're going to go back and check online to see how many of the ones that were returned to our office actually did vote. And figure out exactly where they do live and where they are. So we're going to track down some of these people and just find out what the deal is.
I want to tell you another little story because my database I have the weekly files going back every week to December of 2012. So I can produce up to a 12-year history of how that voter's record appeared on any week in between. And of the 525,000 voters that were added to the rolls this year, over 150,000 don't have a driver's license.
Yep.
Now, and I question that. Why? Well, they had vans full of people going up and down I-95, hitting the counties on either side and claiming to register new voters. Well, a lot of these people had previously registered, had dropped off the roll. When they bring them back on, I run the history. Well, they had a driver's license when they were registered before. They had a middle name when they registered before. They don't have either one now. Well, if that data was in the computer, why was it not brought forward?
Yeah.
And if you know little Edgecombe County, a rural county just east of Raleigh, they had 34,000 registered voters at the first of the year. Jeff, they added 1,700 new voters prior to this election. Where did they find 1,700 farmers in Edgecombe County that weren't registered to vote?
Tell me about it.
I don't buy it for a minute.
Well, a lot of different stuff going on. Hey, we actually got a caller on. Dave, we're going to keep digging, and we're going to probably have you back on the show for long. A lot of stuff didn't make a lot of sense and still don't. But, hey, you've given me a couple things to work on. So we got work to do yet.
Does your caller want to talk to me? Or
I don't know. No, I don't think so. I think they've got a story to tell themselves, and the way they're telling me in the booth back there. So, hey, but I appreciate you so much. Keep working, sir. We need these facts. You're the one that's getting it to us. So I appreciate you.
People can go to Major Dave on Facebook, go to my page, or they can go to the electoraleducationfoundation.com.
Okay. Electrical. Say that again.
Electoral.
Yep.
educationfoundation.com.
All right. Thank you, sir. I appreciate you. All right. You be good.
Take care.
Bye-bye. All right, we're going to go ahead and take that caller. It's been holding forever there. Hey, this is Representative Jeff McNeely. Appreciate you holding. Who we got here?
Hey, Jeff. Jim down in Mooresville. I think I'm just out of your district, but I'm not far enough away from Charlotte after spending all my life there. I'm heading up to your district next move.
Come on, baby.
But,
Come on.
For one thing that I think is killing the validity of our late elections, both, I mean, right here in Mecklenburg, I don't think so much in Iredell, North Carolina, and the whole country, is we got so much time to vote. And I know Mecklenburg County, and not just in the last couple of 3 elections, I remember going back 20 years ago, there were certain precincts in Charlotte in particular that never turned the votes in, sometimes till as late as midnight.
Oh, yeah. The old wait and let's see what we need to do here.
Yeah, it's pretty obvious what's going on. They were in typically a particular ethnic location. I'm not going to talk about that, but I'm going to mention.
Be careful. I done been in trouble once. You can get there too. All right.
Well, no, if you make some comment about it, they'll say, well, we don't have experienced staff or blah, 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 blah. Well, even in McCrory's gubernatorial election, I want to say, out of Durham County, votes were coming, midnight?
Yeah, they found them 10,000 all of a sudden. They're laying around there. They hadn't seen them. Yeah, they found them.
Yeah, and you know how close that race was.
Yep.
And then some precincts, maybe even in North Carolina, I keep hearing about days and weeks later we're getting votes in.
There was
until this is stopped and monitored and legally enforced, it's not going to get any better.
I agree.
I don't care how much online stuff you got. If you got a precinct and they want to get together and manipulate the records, they're going to find a way to do it. And if you got one blue or red control, I'm not just siding against blue. I've tended to be and vote red most of my life. I don't even affiliate with a party anymore. Typically, it's the blues that come out and say, we're going to stay in power and we're going to change the vote and we're going to get in office. It's not right, Jeff. It's not right.
Oh, I know. Like I said, Jefferson Griffith went to bed with 10,000 vote lead, and now 4 weeks later, he's losing by 800. Come on now. I can't believe every vote they found since then has been against him. That the mathematics, the odds, percentages don't work out.
Until someone goes to jail and pays the price, it's not going to change. But I'll never live in Charlotte, Mecklenburg again for the rest of my life. But that's one of the major reasons right there.
Well, every year we run an election bill and we fix this, that, and the other, and then they go and do something else. So we're going to be curious to see with this last bill what it gets done for us. If moving it over to the state auditor's office, maybe we'll take some of the monkey business out of it because we've allowed it to become political.
How do you get it down to the precinct level where the precincts will just turn in their votes whenever they want to, usually in their favor?
Well, I've said all along, one of the things that helped this whole election across the whole country was Michael Whatley, who was the North Carolina GOP chair, was made national, and he had over 600,000 poll watcher volunteers trained out there and had over 500 lawyers average per state in the 48 lower to be ready for anything during the elections. And I truly believe knowing that somebody was looking over the shoulder made the difference. I think it made the difference. And I got some funky numbers to prove it here on Atlanta, on Philadelphia, on Maricopa County, Phoenix. It's kind of obvious.
Well, Jeff, it's pretty obvious now, one full presidential cycle later from the 20 year with all that Wuhan mess going on. I refuse to call it COVID. Wuhan mess going on. And I won't say tens of millions, but I know millions of ballots, mail-in ballots that were created and sent out.
Well.
And I've also noticed and heard some
hey, Jim, we got to take a hard break right now. So if you want to hang tight, we'll talk to you some more. Hold tight. Folks, we got a lot going on today. Stay listening.
More Taking Care of Iredell with North Carolina Representative Jeff McNeely is coming up on 1059 100.7 WSIC.
Well, our week of Thanksgiving getting started off on a nice note. Partly cloudy. We'll get up to around 70 for our Monday afternoon, and we only fall back into the low 50s overnight, but some extra clouds on the way. Highs in the upper 60s Tuesday, but we could see a couple of showers. After that, looking ahead to Turkey Day, a couple of showers possible for Thanksgiving, and then getting cold again by the upcoming weekend. That's your forecast from the WSIC Weather Center. I'm meteorologist Chase Myers.
Here's your WSIC community calendar. This Saturday, Light Up Cornelius helps welcome in the holiday season with the annual Christmas tree lighting. Downtown Cornelius presents community group performances, children's activities, a sledding hill, a model train display, food, drinks, s'mores, and a visit from Santa and Mrs. Claus. Light Up Cornelius kicks off at 4 p.m. Saturday in downtown. The Cornelius holiday festivities continue on Sunday with Christmas in Cornelius. Join us at the Oak Street Mill from 1 p.m. to 6 for a festive afternoon filled with cheer and excitement, including local artisans and small business vendors, Christmas-themed inflatables and activities, local craft brews, ciders and food trucks, a Letters to Santa station, live music and performances, and a visit from Old St. Nick himself. Mark your calendars, get your shopping lists ready, and bring the whole family to Old Town this Sunday for Christmas in Cornelius. The Lincolnton Christmas Parade and tree lighting is this Sunday. The Candyland Parade rolls down Main Street at 4 p.m. Stay downtown after the parade for Santa House, carriage rides, holiday activities, and entertainment with the tree lighting ceremony at approximately 6 p.m. Visit lincolntonnc.org for parade entry forms, information, and details. Speedway Christmas at Charlotte Motor Speedway is happening now through Sunday, January 5th. The Holiday Light Show features more than 5 million lights on a 4-mile course through the oval, pit road, and infield. The show also has drive-in movies on the gigantic Speedway TV. Speedway Christmas tickets and information are available at charlottemotorspeedway.com. From our family to yours, WSIC wishes everyone a happy Thanksgiving. To keep up with all the events happening around the community and much more, including amazing local deals, download the WSIC News app today.
Now, more Taking Care of Iredell with North Carolina Representative Jeff McNeely on 1059 100.7 WSIC.
All right, back here with the last part of the show. Looks like we got a caller. We're going to go ahead and bring her in and see what we got here. Hey, this is Representative Jeff McNeely. Who we got?
Hi, Jeff. Hope here.
Hey, Hope.
Just a thought. We're going to go with the We the People thing because I had a family emergency prevent me from voting in 2020. But I did call the Board of Elections back to let them know that I didn't vote. And then the lady hesitated, and I'm like, just letting you know. So there's nothing wrong with checking up on yourself, right?
You can go online, go on NCSBOE, and you can look and see if you voted or not. It will tell you whether you voted. So you may want to check. You may have voted in 2020 and didn't realize it.
Well, that's what I'm trying to not say. But at any rate, quit waiting for AI and the government to do stuff, people. You're the people.
Yep.
So go double check yourself.
That's right. Check it and see.
Answer there.
Yep.
Yeah, but anyway, I just want to, again, thank you for your hard work. Thanks for putting up with my little comma situation from last time we were talking. But,
Ain't no
I
problem.
have the vision.
That's right.
And we were needing a Trump sooner than a comma for the pause. We need to keep on going as America, and we're doing it.
That's right. That's right. United we stand. United we stand.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, ma'am.
Have a good day.
See you. See you.
Bye.
All right, we've got a few things going on here. Asheville is finally started getting drinking water back again, and this is huge, in my opinion, accomplishment of the Army Corps of Engineers. I mean, they've been boiling water forever, so they actually got UNC Asheville campus back up and going. It's pretty amazing some of the stuff is. So people say, the government ain't doing we're working. We're working now. Are we moving at light speed? For the government, we are. For everybody else, it looks pretty slow. So, and we did a relief bill, and also we formed a select committee. There's quite a few, pretty much everybody west of I-77, and then some other legislators too are on this select committee that we're going to try to really dig in and figure out and get some hard numbers on what we've got to get done up in the mountains of western North Carolina. So we're still working on this, folks. We'll do it from December the 11th. We're going back in, so we'll have another bill where we'll spend more money. We're not forgetting these people. Trust me. Trust me. And actually, I'm going to make a trip up there this afternoon. Here's the next question I bring up because it's looking pretty cool. Can Elon Musk and Ron Swamy, can they really cut $2 trillion out of our U.S. budget? And the question is that going to be a year or is that over 10 years? Because, you know, when you hear one side tell it, they usually want to do it in a year. When you hear the left do it, they talk about a 10-year plan. Well, I always think that's ironic because most things never get done after the first 4. So the question is, can they really do it? Because right now we are spending about $6.8 trillion a year, and almost all the total federal taxes that are being collected, it's taking them to use to pay for Medicare, Social Security, and Medicaid, and the interest on our debt. And the interest on our debt is right at $1 trillion alone. We got another caller. We're checking them out right now. So we're at 35 trillion, almost 36 trillion in debt. And I guess, you know, my next question, we've heard a whole lot of different things. What do some of these departments actually do? And the question I got to ask a lot of times is, what does looks like we're going to something. We'll go ahead and take a call then. We can't talk too long today. Hey, this is Representative Jeff McNeely. Who we got?
Jeff, so Jimmy Moores, I'm sorry I had to leave you while
That's all right.
break, but I have one more quick comment.
Yes, sir.
And I've done a little tax prep. I'm semi-retired now, but the thought occurred to me that government, county, city, state, right on up to federal, has no problem whatsoever about enforcing its revenue laws through confiscation or jail. They do a supreme job of that, by and large, until they enact the same regulation, oversight, and authority over the voting process. I don't know why the taxation and the revenue collection gets more importance. To me, it's completely un-American, undemocratic. Anything you want to address and say about it. That's my last comment, and thanks for listening.
Well, one involves money. That's what they all want. They can spend more of it. So I appreciate it. Thanks, Jimmy. Take care, man.
You bet.
Hey, getting back real quick, like I said, you know, they're talking about do away with the Department of Education. I think that's a great idea. I think there's like 14,000 people work at this. I know that's a lot that may need to find another job, but I really don't know what we need, one at the federal level, and then we need one also at the state level. So you either do away with one or the other. I don't see the duplicity of having to have both of them. And then my next question is, what do they really do at the Department of Energy? Both of those things were created under Jimmy Carter, which was just more bureaucracy. I think they have close to 18,000 people plus a couple thousand subcontractors working at the Department of Energy. And here is what it says. It says the Secretary's initial duties. From the start, the Secretary of Energy also buttressed the nation's energy security. The Department of Energy has promoted energy research and investment that source more energy domestically while also limiting the emissions associated with fossil fuels like coal, oil, and natural gas. Well, now, I could have swore the EPA had a lot to do with the emissions. This thing basically has laid idle under most Republicans and has been not only say a watchdog, but an attack dog under most of the Democrats. Barack Obama and Joe Biden both instructed their energy secretaries to direct the department's focus towards clean energy technology, including solar, wind power, geothermal energy, and safe forms of nuclear power. So every chance they get, they use it to weaponize themselves with. I don't understand. To me, I would assume that you got a nuclear regulatory committee. So there's so much duplicity and so overreach in this and so much waste, it's ridiculous. Now, there is one agency out there, and it is the U.S. Agency of International Development. And basically, when you write out the acronym, man, they love acronyms in government, don't they? That is USAID, Agency of International Development, USAID. And basically what that does is we go all over the world spending money to try to help other countries become more economically viable. And one of the big things they're working with right now is spending money in Africa, trying to teach these people new skill sets so that they can become more prosperous. That's wonderful. they're going to spend $150 billion. That's their achievement. We need $100 billion in Western North Carolina, and we're scrapping around trying to find it. They act like they can't do it, but we're going to spend $150 billion in emerging countries so that they can figure out how to become more economical viable. And this is what I've learned in my lifetime. You give a man a fish, he eats for a day. You teach him how to fish, he eats for a lifetime, but in about 5 years, he figures out how to fish better than you and ends up putting you out of business. And that's how it really works. And so what we'll do is chase cheap labor into the heart of Africa, and that's where you'll see businesses go. You'll see them leave the United States to chase cheap labor. So what we're doing basically is setting up a path for globalization. Now, if you like globalization, you're going to want this. But if you believe that America ought to be the first priority of Americans, you're not going to like that. So I'm also looking here, you got $400 million set aside in the IRS Presidential Campaign Fund that no president campaign has taken since 2008. So why do we even have that little $3 checkbox on our taxes? It's just sitting there. So hopefully we can get our hands on some of this maybe when Elon gets in, or we can do away. One thing I want to bring up real quick, we're still about 4 million votes short of the 2020 election in the 24. I find it hard to believe that 4 million people that had voted in the 2020, which really didn't have that many vote in the 2016. There was a huge ramp up and then fell off. It became that less disinterested in politics. So I dug a little bit, and I can't help it. I'm kind of conservative, so I go and look at what I think would be the hotbeds of liberalism. And I pulled up Atlanta, Georgia, Fulton County. And you know that when Biden was there with all the mail-in votes and everything, they had over 529,000 votes in Fulton County, Georgia, in the 2020 election. In the 24 election total, they didn't have but 415,000 votes in Fulton County. So if you do the math there, it looks like there's about a good 17,000 votes. Quite a few. No, let me look at this again here and make sure I got my math right. About 14,000 votes less this election in that one county. Wasn't that where Rudy Giuliani lost all of his stuff in a suit because he claimed there happened to be more? I don't know. Also looked at Philadelphia. There's less votes this time, 737,000. This time, 712,000. So about 15, actually a little more than that, about 2 from there. Yeah, about 17,000 votes less. So odd. Looked at Maricopa, not as bad, 6,000 votes, but the county right beside it, which makes up Phoenix, is another 6, so about 12,000 less votes. So it just kind of makes you wonder, about 19,000, less across the state. So all these close ones makes you wonder why people were so disinterested this vote versus the last time. Or were they? I'm just going to leave that out there for y'all to decide. So it's a little bit different, but something to talk about, something to think about. All right, folks. Hey, we got Thanksgiving coming up and a lot to be thankful for. Dear Heavenly Father, dear Lord, we are thankful. We are grateful as a nation, dear Lord. I pray that we come to know you better. I pray, Lord, that you have put the right people in place. I know you have, because it's your will that we're doing. So I pray you lead and guide us, and you keep us humble, Lord, and keep us ever wanting to follow your path and do your will. And dear Lord, I just pray for those that are struggling in Western North Carolina this Thanksgiving. Be with them. Give them courage. In Jesus Christ's name, amen. Folks, until next week, take care.
North Carolina Representative Jeff McNeely. Join Jeff again next Monday morning at 11:05 for Taking Care of Iredell on News Talk WSIC.